Lazy Jack and the 12-ingredient feast challenge. In the cozy neighborhood where Lazy Jack lived, Christmas was a big deal. This year, Jack's mom had a special plan. "We're going to prepare a 12-dish Christmas feast from around the world," she announced. "And you, Jack, will help make each dish." Jack's eyes widened. 12 dishes. "Mom, I can barely make toast." His mom smiled. "One dish at a time, Jack. Let's start simple." She handed him dried fruits, nuts, and sugar. "This is for French Christmas jam. Here's the recipe book." Jack sighed but opened the book and got to work. Day 1, French jam, confiture de Noël. Lesson, attention to detail. Jack read the recipe carefully. "Mix dried fruits, nuts, and sugar, then simmer," he muttered. He measured each ingredient slowly and stirred the pot, watching the mixture bubble. Soon, a sweet aroma filled the kitchen. Jack tasted his work. "Wow, it's actually good." His mom smiled. "See, careful steps make a difference." Day 2, Italian panettone. Lesson, patience. Panettone needed time to rise. Jack followed the recipe, kneading the dough and letting it rest. "Why does it take so long?" he groaned. His mom explained, "Good things take time, Jack." When the golden loaf finally came out of the oven, Jack grinned. "Totally worth it." Day 3, German potato pancakes, Kartoffelpuffer. Lesson, teamwork. Grating potatoes was hard. Jack's mom helped, and soon their hands were flying. "This is easier together," Jack admitted. When the crispy pancakes sizzled in the pan, Jack realized teamwork made cooking fun. Day 4, Jamaican sorrel drink. Lesson, sharing traditions. Jack's neighbor, Mrs. Bennett, invited him over. "We'll make a Jamaican Christmas drink today," she said. Jack followed her instructions, boiling sorrel petals with ginger and spices. As they sipped the vibrant red drink, Mrs. Bennett shared stories of Jamaican Christmas traditions. "Food connects us to our roots," she said. Jack felt proud to learn something new. Day 5, British mince pies. Lesson, history and meaning. Jack's mom handed him the recipe for mince pies. "These symbolize good luck," she explained. Jack carefully filled pastry shells with dried fruit and spices. As they baked, his mom shared the history. Mince pies were once filled with meat and eaten during the 12 days of Christmas. Each spice represents the gifts brought by the wise men. Jack listened closely, realizing that every dish told a story. "So, it's like sharing a bit of history with every bite," he said. Day 6, Swedish lussekatter, saffron buns. Lesson, tradition matters. The bright saffron buns symbolized light. Jack shaped each one into an S, following the recipe step by step. "These are like little suns," he said, proud of his work. Day 7, Polish pierogi, with Mr. Kowalski. Lesson, perseverance. Jack's neighbor, Mr. Kowalski, showed him how to make pierogi. Folding dumplings was tricky. Jack's first few were messy, but Mr. Kowalski encouraged him. "Keep trying," he said. By the end, Jack's pierogi looked perfect. "Hard work pays off," he cheered. Day 8, Mexican tamales, with the Ramirez family. Lesson, family and community. Making tamales was a family event. The Ramirez family showed Jack how to spread masa dough on corn husks. They chatted and laughed as they worked. Cooking together is like a party, Jack realized. Day 9, Japanese Christmas cake. Lesson, celebrate joyfully. Jack baked a light sponge cake, following each step in the recipe book. Topping it with whipped cream and strawberries, he smiled. "This is fun and festive." His mom agreed. "Holidays are for joy, Jack." Day 10, Russian borscht, with Mrs. Ivanova. Lesson, warmth and care. Jack made borscht with their neighbor, Mrs. Ivanova. As the beet soup simmered, she told him about cold winters in Russia. "This soup warms the soul," she said. Jack tasted it and felt comforted. Day 11, Ethiopian Doro Wat. Lesson, respect for other cultures. Jack followed the spicy recipe, learning about Ethiopian traditions. As he stirred the chicken stew, he realized how food connected people around the world. "Every culture has something beautiful," he said. Day 12, English roast turkey. Lesson, responsibility. The final challenge was the biggest. Jack had to roast the turkey. He read the recipe carefully, seasoning it and checking it every hour. When the turkey came out golden and perfect, Jack beamed. "I did it. A feast to remember." On Christmas Eve, the table was filled with dishes from around the world. Neighbors came over, bringing their own stories and traditions. They laughed, shared memories, and enjoyed the feast Jack had helped create. Mrs. Bennet raised her glass of sorrel. "Jack, you've grown so much." Mr. Kowalski nodded. "You've shown us all that learning takes effort but brings great rewards." Jack looked around at the smiling faces. He realized the feast wasn't just about food, it was about community and connection. Each dish had brought them closer together. "Turns out, I'm not so lazy after all," Jack said with a grin. His mom hugged him. "And you've learned the best lesson of all, Christmas is about sharing and understanding." As stories and laughter filled the room, Jack knew this Christmas would stay in their hearts forever.